Everyone, and welcome to A Word with Kelly Scott Reed. Today we are speaking with J. Archer Avary, writer, former broadcast journalist, environmentalist, uh, editor and in chief, and founder of Sledgehammer Lit. We are so happy to have you here today. I am a little starstruck. I told you before we started because you're one of my favorites. I don't want to gush all over you, but I really, and even better, former punk rock drummer, which is something that is near and dear to my heart.
Oh yeah, that almost seems like a lifetime ago. But yeah, like I'm always playing air drums, like on the train, annoying everybody because I'm like banging on the seats and everything. So one of those things I've done my whole life.
Awesome. I really am very thankful that you're with us this morning.
Well, I'm very
Thank you for
thankful
making
to
the
be
time.
here.
Excellent. So we are here just to ask you some questions. We want to find out what makes writers tick, some of their processes, and just kind of share it with the literary world. Everybody sometimes feels like an island onto themselves when they're a writer, like they're alone in their process or alone in how they feel. And we like to do these interviews because there's so much to learn from other folks, as well as just getting you to not feel so alone
Yeah,
out there in the world.
exactly.
So, first question, when was a time in your life, or the first time in your life, when you realized that language had power?
Gosh, I don't know. I always like my parents kind of pushed me into reading, so I was always like reading like before I was like even conscious of it. So I always grew up around books and, would read whatever that was put in front of me, recreational reading. But I didn't really think it was cool, I guess, until like I discovered kind of Kurt Vonnegut, I guess, was really like the jumping in point for me. It was like I had a roommate, I might have been about 20 years old, like in that punk rock time of my life. Playing drums, living in an apartment with another dude. And our rent was $125 a month in Omaha. And we had like the whole band was set up downstairs with a 4-track and we recorded all the time. But yeah, I mean, he handed me Cat's Cradle and he's like, this is awesome. And then from then on, I started being a book thief. And I would actually walk into all the Omaha area malls and I would stuff like books down my sleeves of my leather jacket and I would actually fill the entire thing with all until I collected all the Vonnegut. And I would hit all the 4 malls in succession. So I'd just clean out like the Vonnegut section. And I started stealing dictionaries and I got a whole library of stuff and I gave it up. But basically just reading Vonnegut was my way in. And then Henry Miller was another big early one for me. I think I did some journaling around that point, like when my band went on tour. Just to kind of like document it. So that I always knew the word was important, just kind of like, but, there was so much other stuff going on, I didn't really like think of it as anything. It was just part of my life that way.
So, did you like those particular books and writers because they spoke to you about your own life, or did you find a life in them that you wanted to
Um, I don't even really know, but Vonnegut, uh, like, I was like, wow, like it sounds like a voice in my head, like talking to me, like it really like just kind of like chimed, and it was like, it's like wow, and I could just devour it. And I was uh, professionally, I was filming cheerleading tournaments, and so like the girls would go up and do a cheerleading routine for like 3 minutes, and then they'd sit back down again. And so I was a cameraman, and so I would just sit down, pick up my book. They had like 30 seconds in between routines, and you could read Vonnegut in short bursts. And I had a short attention span, ADHD my whole life from the age of 4. Like they put me on so much reading, I can barely remember parts of my childhood. From being on drugs until like I was, an adult and on my own and didn't know health care. So yeah, Vonnegut, it just struck a chord with me and I rated it.
have? Thank you. Now, does writing for you energize you or exhaust you?
It depends. Like I watched you guys thing uh when Beth and Matt interviewed you guys. So I watched that on the train today, and I was kind of struck with that you guys had a lot of energy. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, I got lost.
Oh, that's okay. Does writing energize or exhaust you?
I think energize and exhaust, but I'm kind of a streaky writer. Like I might sit down one day and just write an entire day, like for 8 or 10 hours, and then I'll get back down the next day and do that. I've been fortunate to have a couple of spans between jobs here. I think that's probably coming to a close, but you know, I get energized by the streets, and I just let the words come out, and it might take 10 hours at a time to do it. But like that, I had a novella out with Daily Drunk last year, and I wrote that thing start to finish in 4 days, and it was like I edited as I went, and it was just done. And like then I sent it off, like because I was like, oh, I was like, oh shit, it's too long. Like no presses publish 9,000 word stories, right? So like what do I do? Like, I'll just put it in my folder, I guess. And then I saw the subs call for Daily Drunk and sent that thing out. But it was just a burst of energy. I just tried to ride the energy. And then when I'm exhausted, I switch formats. So I might write fiction, and it just really just like a lightning bolt comes out, and take a breath, and then like the next stuff happens. It's different. It's poetry, and then I just go on a run. And I think I'm in a cycle right now where I'm at the end of a poetry cycle, and I'm starting to feel like tingling of like prose, like maybe coming back. Hopefully, I need some time to recover, but from the immigration stuff I was alluding to earlier. Getting all that paperwork done like took a lot out of me. So I'll take a few days, and then maybe like try to write again, and maybe try to write a story, because I haven't written one, since before NAPO Rhino, where I did like 38 poems in 30 days.
Well, I can relate to you on the ADHD aspect of things, because what you're describing is kind of how I write. I have bursts of inspiration and energy, and then time where I will go. I've gone years without writing a thing, and focusing on more of the physical aspects of my life. And it's almost like once it starts, I have to finish it. I can't put it down and go back to things. It's got to be a start to finish process for me. That's why I write shorter things most of the time.
Yeah.
But to have that length that you're able to do. What is the name of the novella you wrote?
It's called The Dog Sitter, and I've got it on the shelf coming in bag. But this is what it looks like. And yeah, like so it just came out. I wrote it in 4 days, and it came out last year. Like it was digitally available for free, and still is at the Daily Drunk. Everyone knows them. And then I was like, hey, I kind of print a book of it, kind of like with you guys when you put my story out. I was like, can I put it out as a chapbook too at the same time? And you guys were cool with that, and that was just kind of fun for me to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm holding right now. The Drought of 95.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
it right next to me. I love this.
Thank you.
So it's really fantastic. Everyone should read it. It's really great.
Thank you. Yeah, like I agree with you. Everyone should. Yeah. That would be great if I could get everyone to read it. That's like, I guess.
Trust me.
Yeah.
What do you feel are the elements of good writing? The most important elements of good writing to you?
Gosh, I think directness really. Like I think I get turned off like if there's like, too many wordy bits, and this maybe was more acquired as an editor, because when I got into it, I really didn't know what I liked and didn't know what I disliked, other than just liking it and disliking it. And really, that's kind of how I operate in my life. But if I had to say like turn-offs, would be not breaking up your stuff into paragraphs. Like if it's all just like a big block of text, Like it's really kind of a turn off, and I just don't want to read it, like because it looks like it's going to hurt me in some kind of way. Um, but in terms of writing, like if you put too many words in, some people can pull off writing like they talk. Like me, I have to eliminate a lot of words to like make my thoughts come across on the page with all the ums and things like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
but that's one thing I try to do is to eliminate, you know, excess words and just try to be direct about it. And uh, I always try to sit down and write a short thing though. That's my problem. Is like I get too involved, and I always try to. I'll write a 1,000 word story, and then that's basically comes in maybe 2,500 words, or I'm getting better, so maybe 2,000 words, and now I'm like able to do the 1,500 words. So I'm really a beginner, I think in terms of knowing what I'm doing, and knowing what I like. And but when I read other people's work, just sometimes I wish there was I think people would benefit to like cut more words out, I guess.
Hmm. So so you have, when you found out that language had power, it was through Vonnegut.
Yeah.
But what inspired you to start writing in the first place?
Just, you know, I don't know. I was involved in music and I was trying to express myself in a lot of different ways. And I think, you start reading these, Henry Miller's and Charles Bukowski's and Hunter S. Thompson, who's, generating kind of like thinly veiled CNF, I guess is what they call it nowadays, right? So I really like that as a vehicle for that, because I always have these bad work scenarios and things that happen at work that like they're the stories I tell the friends. And that's kind of like the basis of a lot of the stuff I write anyway. It's just stuff I pick up from everyday life. So just seeing guys like that, like, oh, they're writing kind of about their own life, but it's also kind of fake too. Was like, oh, maybe that's something I should do to like express myself because it's easier than keeping a band together, or it's easier than trying to go on tour with a band, which I tried and it didn't work out so well financially. Bad things happen. So
It's funny. I really got the real life in the drought of '95. I remember that happening. My husband remembered it happening. So when you take something from your real life or something that's inspired you from your life, it's gonna reflect in other people's lives as well. I think for me, I tend to really like the more less fantastical, more realistic stuff sometimes. Just because it resonates a lot with me. The truth is always stranger than fiction in my life, anyway. Um, let's say, okay, so Miller, Vonnegut. Do you have any other writing heroes that may not be literary, that may be like a musical of someone who writes music that you find to be inspiring?
oh, like right now I'm like kind of really into like Lou Reed's music right now. I heard a new like live album from Lou Reed that I haven't heard before, but like when I listen to music, it's just for the music. I don't care what you're saying, like it
Mm.
never like the voice as an instrument is more of a thing for me than like the words. Uh, I guess I don't have such a great auditory memory, perhaps. Uh, I can't even pronounce the name of your journal. It's that bad of an auditory memory.
Neither can I.
Because I go to I had a reading and I was going to read something that you published, and I was like, oh, like, and I was gone to the like YouTube where you can like have it pronounce things, and it was like or whatever, and I didn't. I was like, I'm not going to try it because like I'm going to do it wrong, and like all these people, I'm in England, right? Like they all get like French lessons or whatever, I think, and
Well,
deal with French people and know like basic rules of the road for pronunciation. And I'm going to just butcher it and like just enlarge in the stereotype of like the uneducated American, right? So,
No, I call it raw Funyuns when we're talking
yeah.
because it's just easier for me. I'm not great with language either, in terms of foreign languages. My mom and grandmother speak Italian, and I grew up around
Mm,
it, and I still am not great with it. But we say raw Funyuns.
okay. You say raw
Just like
Funyuns?
raw Funyuns.
Okay,
Because
that
it's
would
raw Funyun, so we're like it's
okay.
raw Funyuns. But you
All right.
can
I'll do that
use
one.
that.
Okay. I'll do it like that. Thank you for that. That helps. Because
Awesome.
I really like big you up a lot more, like in my writing groups, but it is that barrier of like not wanting to seem stupid, that I have to
Mm-hmm.
cross, and I'm still trying to like, join the local community here. I've only been here a few months, like in the northeast of England. I'm just kind of like now connecting with like real life groups. Like there's a reading I did last night with a group called Under the Arches up here. They turned out 40 something people for a poetry reading there in Time Out. And that was big time, I thought, especially
Mm-hmm.
since last Friday here. I went to the Newcastle Poetry Festival. The poet laureate Simon Armitage was there performing. I said, well, for £5, I'm going to check that out. And it was great. They had 70 people here for him, which is like poetry rock star.
Yeah.
Just like legit, like one of the only, Amanda Gorman, like Simon Armitage, the rare poetry rock star. This new Pulitzer Prize winner, Diane Seuss, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm hearing the buzz about her. I want to check whatever her book of sonnets that just won the Pulitzer. So poetry's pretty alive here. I'm just kind of trying to incorporate into that, and have a good time. So I don't want to seem that dumb, but I also want to big up the presses that are great right now. And so I do like I want to talk about that when I'm in front of the room or when I'm in a device. So that's pretty crucial for me to have like raw Funyuns.
Well, could you plug anything that you're working on for us so that we have something to look forward to?
Well, I just got a new book out, and I got the copies, and it's just a poetry collection called Reverse into Space. And true story, I took the photo in a parking garage in the Cayman Islands where I used to park my car at work. And it tried to get you to reverse in, but everyone just like pulled in frontwise. And I was like, Reverse into Space, that sounds like an album name or something. And I always thought of it as like the album cover or the book cover. And I didn't even really think about writing poetry at the time. I was like just a journalist and struggling to keep up with the workflow and like make my deadlines every day. I had no space for creative stuff at all for those years in the Islands. And it just kind of stuck with me. And then when Sledgehammer became so much like last November, where it was like, I couldn't keep up with it, like just doing it as like, even with the staff, I couldn't handle it anymore. So that picture came back up, and then I said, you know what, like I've got all these poems all of a sudden, like with Sledgehammer going. There was maybe a couple of months where I didn't write at all. And then, trying to like lead a team where I have like no like leadership abilities. Like watching you guys interview today, I was like, wow, like they did it right, like the way it came together, like with some planning and like, maybe like getting the nucleus of an idea together. Like, I didn't do it that way. I just was like, you know what I'm gonna do this morning? It's like sketchhunter.com live, like submissions open, in a week, and I'm like, hey, what are the guidelines? I don't know. And so like I kind of applaud you guys for doing what you guys do, and kind of like having like a professional enough backbone that you hopefully won't like vanish like the dandelion seeds into the wind. Like the little lit mags are so ephemeral, on the internet, and just getting a little bit sad about Sledgehammer. But
Mm-hmm.
in that little break, I took a mental health break and just was like, wow, I've got a lot of poems, and I should do something with it. So I put the manuscript together. I couldn't really think of where to send it. And then I saw that Amy Buda was taking submissions, and I just sent it. And I said, let's do it fast. And so I think the books are at my house probably like 3 weeks after I sent the manuscript out. But that's the way that, the way to do it, I think, is like rip it off like a Band-Aid. For me, I could like keep these poems in the computer and then change and to but, and to but, and to but, and to ampersand, and to ampersand, like until the end of time. Or like tweak a line break here and there, substitute words. I mean, the only thing that made them done is that they're in a book now, I guess. So you got to kind of know when to say when, I guess. And I guess that's maybe the lesson I learned with the book and the Sledgehammer. And that's kind of probably what you can probably squeeze out of like the humor that I masked everything with, so.
Well, it's just to cover Sledgehammer again, it's a very well-respected press. So even if it was seat of your pants, I'm new to the press game, very new, and I knew you. So I think that even though it wasn't what you would have hoped for organization-wise, it had a big impact.
Yeah,
it really did.
It just kind of outgrew what I ever thought it would. So it's like, in way too American. It's, I'm still kind of like pretty raw about it, because like, you don't want to like bail out of something, right? But just mental health wise, I think I made the right call. And, with all the chapbooks I had to let down, it's tough for me to hold up a book and say, buy this, that I put out when I couldn't do that for everybody else. So, but, sorry about that, guys.
No. I'm really happy we got a chance.
Face on, because it feels like a bit of a pity party to me to think about Sledgehammer like that. But I don't really have a lot of people to talk about Sledgehammer with, I don't want to, move on without acknowledging,
Absolutely. Oh no.
I screwed 12 people over that I said I'd do that chapters for, so.
But like you said, I mean, sometimes, and we're Tiffany will probably agree with me on this. There are certain crossroads in life where you have to make a choice, and it's of your own personal mental health.
Yeah.
Or hey, I can't do this anymore, or it's going to kill me. That kind of thing. And I'm sorry. I hope you forgive me, but this has to move forward. And even in personal relationships, that's happened with me, where it's like, it's over and I have to move on. And try to do it the best way.
Everyone was really cool too. I mean,
right.
Like when I finally did it, I think I got a nudge from some of the, Team Sledge folks. Like, hey, it's coming up close. Like, I think we've already missed some deadlines that we set, and then so I had to get real. And I feel a lot better for doing it. I think maybe by having a book, it just kind of like seals that bit off, kind of. And I can kind of move on and like feel like I'm working on another new project. I can like write again and feel good about submitting and move on.
And I can't wait to see what you come up with. I really can't wait to see what happens, because I feel when I looked at just your bio on your WordPress, I was so taken by how many wonderful things you've done in terms of how you've led your life, what you've done with your talents and your voice. And it's pretty impressive. That's why I was like, wow, I get to interview someone who's done some of the things that I wished I'd done in my life, like your work in the Caymans. A lot of different things that I would read. I always read out loud to my husband, listen to this. I'm always doing that and driving him crazy. He was like, he sounds pretty amazing. And I just think you should take that away, that for someone who on the outside looking in, you've done a lot of really great things, and the press was one of them, and you're going to
Yeah,
do more.
yeah, I feel that way too. I'm like dead proud of it. I do, you know, I'm dead proud of it, really. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
whoever, woke up one day and decided to do something and see it, yes, that was really cool for me. I'm kind of a softie on the emotion side, as you can tell, but yeah, just dead proud of that. Yeah, Sledgehammer was great.
Absolutely.
At the end, it just was, it was too popular. I couldn't deal with it.
Yes. Well, we absolutely love you, and I want to see more. I can't wait to pick up your book. We do have a book club that we do
Yeah.
semi-monthly. We're trying our best. We're like you. We got a lot going on.
Oh, I
Um,
understand.
so we'll pick it up and see if we want to book club it, because we get very silly on the book clubs. We're very serious about the writing, but
I
us
saw the
three
one
together.
that you did with McGurk, right? Like, I saw the one with Matt's thing. You guys are a bunch of goofballs. And like today, like with all three guys, so
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
like
goofy.
I think just in terms of what you guys are doing, it's just great, like I mean, you guys, I remember like when Sledgehammer just was first getting that like buzz, and I was like, wow, like everyone's like sending me stuff, and it's like blowing my mind, with how great it is, and like you guys are like enjoying that and like doing it so much better, like with all like the visuals side of it,
Oh,
so
Tiff,
much
that's all Tiff.
capability,
Yeah,
and
she's amazing.
the professionalism is like really top notch, I think. And of course, like, when people are treated well, then that word gets around, and the best people want to send the best stuff, and it just makes it even better. Like the energy, everyone's good about it. What you guys are doing.
Oh, thank
From
you.
a personal perspective, it's like, feels great to have, like, had a relationship with your press like early on and send you that story, and uh,
Mhm.
just kind of everybody going together, it's really cool.
Well, thank you so much for spending this morning with us, in afternoon for you. I
Do you want to talk
appreciate
about
it.
yoga at all? Do you want to get a yoga in? Because I know you're into yoga, and that's like kind of my thing as well. Like I got to do a bit of yoga.
No
What's your
kidding.
favorite pose? You got a favorite yoga pose?
Oh God. Okay. Trikonasana is my favorite pose.
Which
Triangle.
one's triangle? Oh gosh, yeah. Maybe not. That's not really like. I like a nice child's pose, like really wide, like hip opener, but with
Yeah.
somebody standing on my bum, like on the small of my back.
I
Like,
like to push on people's backs, pushing it down. It's really nice. It's a great massage.
yeah,
It's
like
awesome.
I used to have like an annual membership at the yoga studio in Cayman, which was fab. Like, because I was addicted to hot yoga, and I would all the instructors knew me and would always use me as like a prop or like whatever, So like I'd do that like child's pose, and then they'd stand up on there, and that was the greatest because like all that weight just like opened me up, and it was like
Mhm.
the Cayman Islands, so it's that hot anyway. Plus, like we were in like 110-degree room or whatever. So
That's awesome. I teach online, so you should join one of my classes.
I should do that one time. But I think for me, like, I'm kind of the online thing's hard because I like need to be there, like to like ADD
Put your
me into
hand.
like
You want the
that
assist.
immersion. Yeah, yeah, I
Have
need
you
the
ever had
immersion.
someone in downward dog pull your hips up back?
Yeah, they
I
used to
love
like
that.
kind of tweak my pose. I think I have pretty good mechanics of the yoga. It's just kind of like physical neglect and shit for like, oh yeah, like should I go to yoga or should I go to the pub and sit and drink 5 beers? Like sometimes the beer wins.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, I will let you go. Thank you so much. It has been awesome. 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 I'm so happy I got this opportunity. Thank you for jumping in.
Well, thank you for that, and I hope it wasn't a downer for anybody to see me get weepy or whatever. So.
No. Oh gosh. I love it. I
All
love
right.
it.
Well,
That was
well,
great.
cheers to
Thank
you
you for the
guys.
honor.
Thank you so much for your time and everything. And I'm glad I was able to make it back from my training voyage, like in the nick of time to be here.
Thank you. See you
Cheers.
soon.
I hope so. Bye, guys.
Bye.